You are listening to the Special Needs Children podcast with Chitra Iyer. Chitra Iyer is a parent of 22-year-old Shravan Iyer who has epilepsy, cerebral palsy and autism. She is the CEO of MFA and has been helping families with life-centered planning to reach their personal financial goals. She is also a trustee of the parent support group, the Forum for Autism, which was set up almost 2 decades ago. MFA is a 16-year-old organization working in the personal finance space. They have set up a dedicated practice to help families with special needs children to plan their financial goals and invest for the same. The thoughts shared here are as a result of discussions with parents, caregivers, siblings and professionals regarding the planning of a person with special needs. In this expert series podcast, Chitra is talking to Sangeetha Chakrapani. Sangita is a mom to 2 teenage girls with autism and their 2 siblings. She is the co-founder of Together Foundation, set up to help young people with autism to prepare for independent living. Listen to her in conversation with Chitra Iyer, where she shares her thoughts on future planning for special needs children as they become adults.
Hi, welcome to my podcast for special needs children. Today I have the wonderful, vibrant Sangeetha Chakrapani as my guest for this special needs series. Sangita, I know you as a loving mother to 4 beautiful children, a very impressive teacher who runs a tight schedule with clear objectives in her center as part of the Together Foundation, and one righteous, witty person. When she comes to her writings, you are mind-blowing when you share all your personal stories. Every time over the years you've been doing this, and you guide us all, through your entire autism journey, as well as all the simple pleasures of life. I have loved to interact with both of you, your husband CP, and you through your autism journey, and learn so much about you and your dear family through your writings. A very big warm welcome to you on this expert series of my podcast for special needs children. Thank you for your time and agreeing to share your journey with all of us.
Thank you, Chitra.
Just to introduce you formally to our listeners, Sangeetha Chakrapani set up Together Foundation along with her husband to help young people with autism to prepare for independent living. Sangita believes that, like anyone else, people with autism also need to work towards a life of happiness as they grow older. You can definitely learn more about them by visiting their website, www.togetherfoundationtrust.org. With this, I'd love to begin, Sangeetha. Can you please share your journey of living with autism with your daughters?
Chitra, my daughters were 2 and 3 years old when they were diagnosed with autism. And we were running a jam-packed household at that time with 4 children of the same age. And yes, it was apparent. The first child to get diagnosed was Jayanti. And it was clear to us that there was something very different about this child. One never expected it to be autism. I probably felt that she needed more attention from me, or she was getting neglected because of the number of people at home and things like that. So autism was an unknown animal when Jayanti got diagnosed. And the diagnosis came as a very big blow to both CP as well as me. And we were already overwhelmed with caring for 4 children. And this was not something that we needed at that time. And just as we were getting into the world of autism, and taking baby steps forward and trying to do what had to be done with Jayanti, and the whole journey of therapy had begun, that Lakshmi was diagnosed with autism. With Lakshmi, of course, it came as a surprise because She was always came across as the brightest of the lot. She was the first to talk. She was the first to walk. She was the first to imitate, pick up the phone and say hello. She was the first to do almost everything. She was the first to eat solid food. And she was this very interactive and happy, bubbly child as compared to Jayanti, who is far more quiet and far more retiring by nature. But yes, I mean, it was apparent. And I remember this famous conversation with Dr. Udani, where I was arguing with the autism diagnosis with him. And he said, Mrs. Chakrapani, it is not enough to imitate the actions of nursery rhymes on TV. It is not enough to be able to sing back a nursery rhyme that you hear on TV, or to spread your arms or lift your hands and imitate the actions. It is not enough. It is also comprehension which matters a lot. And yes, it was very clear that the gap between Lakshmi and the other two neurotypical siblings was growing wider and wider, because the comprehension was getting affected. Her ability to play a game, her ability to understand the rules of a game were, completely way behind what it should have been. And we and Lakshmi realized that she could no longer play with her siblings the way she used to when she was 1 year old. And the journey began, and we, like any other parents, the first thing that you want when you get a diagnosis of autism is, somehow make my child all right. Let my child merge into the world of children outside. Somehow let those differences get completely mitigated and destroyed, so that my child just becomes one more child out in the universe. So this was the same compelling desire that both CP and I had. And we worked in different various ways to help our children come out of autism, to say goodbye to autism forever. So this effort went on for many years in the form of different kinds of intervention, homeopathy, acupressure, acupuncture, different things that we had heard about. And on the other side, we had professionals at Umeed and with other child development centers who were guiding us. So the journey of therapy also continued. And we managed to secure admission for them into an inclusive school, where they had the opportunity to go to school and carry a school bag and wear uniform and do all the things that parents normally take for granted, but parents of children with autism never take for granted. So they got to do all those things for a few years. But this is where we made a mistake. The mistake we made was that there came a point in their lives when the academic journey was not working anymore. The writing was on the wall. The time for going to school for the sake of interaction and for the sake of being with others, the time for that was over. And slowly, Lakshmi and Jayanti were spending more and more time in the classroom without being actively and meaningfully engaged. That was the time that we should have pulled them out of the inclusive school, and we should have given them the special school support that they needed. This is a regret that I will always have. I lost at least 2 years. Lakshmi and Jayanti lost at least 2 years, where both CP and I, as parents, tried to drag the dream on. We tried to breathe life into a dream that was already not existing anymore, which did not have any potential. So this was a very costly decision, because what happened was, because they were in a space where they were not utilizing their full potential, where they were doing things that they did not enjoy doing, that they were not prospering from, this is where the behavior issues started coming in. So both of them started showing behaviors which were inexplicable at that time, but which now, when I look back, I'm able to understand where it was coming from. So, of course, those days I didn't know what was behavior modification, Chitra, but because I used to work with Lakshmi and Jayanti all the time, I carried out behavior modification without knowing what it is. So I worked a lot with Lakshmi and Jayanti on helping them to understand what is socially acceptable behavior, what is not, what are alternates that they could do to give themselves relief in a situation which is not to their liking. So this was something that I worked on very hard with both my daughters. And both of us, both my husband and I, woke up to the fact that academics was not working. We pulled them out. And this was the time they were approximately around 8 to 9 years old. And this was when I began to really, I got into the lives of people with autism with a great intensity and great passion. It was a huge turning point in our lives when school ended. The dream of continuing with school, when it ended, it was a huge wake up call for me as a parent. And I spent a lot of time visiting a lot of institutions, talking to a lot of people, professionals, parents, you name it. And I began to look into the far future. So I began developing a model for long term planning of the life that lies ahead and short term planning. So, though they were just 9 years old, I began to ask myself what happens when they are 20 years old? What happens when they're 30 and 40 years old? I forced myself to evaluate a reality which I had no clue about. And I was forced to consider things. I was forced to look at things which I had not glanced at before. It was a coming of age for me as a mother. And that's when I realized that if we are looking at securing happiness for our children with autism, one, it's very important to understand their potential, to help them to realize their potential. It is also very important to walk in their shoes and to help them to live their lives rather than live our dreams as parents. There's a very critical difference here. So the moment I understood that, it really helped me to plan their lives and to look at things that they would like to do, look at things that they would like to learn and cherish and be happy with, and to leave the house with a smile on the face, to leave the house with a sense of security in the heart, to leave the house in the morning with a sense of looking forward to something that they're going to do that day and learn that day. So what if it is not school? So what if it is not a notebook? So what if it is not a pencil or a pen or a compass box? And instead of that, so what if they are learning some skills? If they are learning how to make things, how to do things, how to create things of beauty that they like to do, and with the support that they need. So this was the first step. The first step was to create opportunities of learning that will bring them joy, that will bring them a sense of security, which will make them feel good that I can do, and rather than go on showing them what they can't do. So that was step one. And step two, which I was working towards, was, as I said, the long-term planning. How are they going to live when they grow older? How are they going to live when I am older, when CP is older? We don't have the kind of energy that we have today. Who's going to take care? Who's going to give them the support that they need? And on the other hand, how do I empower them with more skills, as many skills as possible, which will help them to be as independent as possible? So here also I had to have a reality check in terms of what is it that we want from our children in terms of when we say independence. What is this independence? Is it realistic for me to expect my daughters with autism to become financially independent in their own right? Yes, they are going to a sheltered employment workshop today. They go to Together Foundation, they learn a whole lot of things, they make a whole lot of things. But what is the stipend they earn for a month? They earn some 2,000 rupees, not even that, 1,750 is what they earn. This is their earning potential today. Do I see it increasing tremendously over the next 5, 10, 15 years? Do I see them earning enough to pay their bills and to look after themselves? No. When it comes to individuals who are higher functioning with autism, yes, definitely the possibility is very high. The possibility is very high. But my concern area when I think about individuals with autism and the open environment and where they are working is, how far are they able to sustain in the open environment? How many years are they able to continue working? Are they able to continue earning? These are all questions which we have to ask ourselves. Whether they are able to, we keep reading about it everywhere, that people have got a job in housekeeping, somebody's got a job in a hotel, somebody's got a job in the software industry, and it makes us all feel so happy. But at the back of my mind, there is a thought that how long are they able to sustain? How long are they able to adhere to the work environment? And tomorrow, if it doesn't work out, what are the options for them? So this is a question that all of us as a society have to answer and create opportunities. Yeah.
Thank you, Sangita, for sharing so openly about how your initial struggles were and how the children were, from the age of 9, you started thinking about future planning for them and going beyond after having thought about what you actually need for them. Is that when, you both decided to set up the foundation? And if you could please share with us what all does, happens under the Together Foundation umbrella, and what are your future plans for the center?
So, yes. So as I said, when my daughters, when their academic journey ended, it was a huge turning point and it was a huge wake-up call. And as I said, I visited a lot of places, I met with a lot of people, and I developed a short-term plan and a long-term plan for not only my children, but also I looked at the community of people with autism, because wherever I went, I was meeting with parents, I was meeting with their children, and it raised many questions. So how Together Foundation came about was, if at all we are looking at our children transitioning from the home to a community living where they live with people with extra support, where they live with peers, they live with lifetime care community setup. If you're looking at that transitioning, it cannot happen overnight. So one of the critical things is to prepare them for starting to embrace independence by going out of the home and coming to a place where they are treated as young adults, where they are given an opportunity to work in a training center and not a school. So we were very clear from the beginning that Together Foundation is not a school. Together Foundation is not a therapy center. We do not offer therapy. The reason is that by the age of between, let's say, 11 to 14, many parents of children with autism experience this turning point that I'm talking about. What next? What do we do next? So either the child is not able to continue with academics, or the child has completed academics to a certain level, but then after that finds a plateau. What do I do next? Where do I go next? Because there are issues that come in the way. There's behavior that comes in the way. The ability to work to learn in an open environment comes in the way. So Together Foundation is a place where you come to terms with who you are and what you have, and you move forward to build on your strengths, whatever they may be. So it is a place where you embrace yourself, you're accepted for what you are and who you are, and you are helped and taught and empowered to start doing things and creating an identity for yourself. So this was the fundamental concept with which the foundation was started. We began work with creating a bridge between the people with autism who are within the four walls of the foundation and the world outside. So if we have to create a bridge and we want people to come to us and we want people to talk to us and to engage with us, we have to offer our skills. So we had to create a skill which would move from a person with autism to the world around him, through which he can engage with the world around him, that this is what I am doing and this is what I am offering. So we began with teaching bakery skills. And it was a very, very small project. It actually started from my home because the foundation was not yet set up at that time. And it started as a very tiny initiative. And we received support from several high-thinking individuals and generous people who gave us their time and their expertise. And when Together Foundation finally opened its doors, it still had only that one microwave. But there were 2-3 things that happened in the first year of the inception of the organization. We had an amazing life skill program, daily living skills program, which we were offering to our young adults who would walk in through the door, because many people with autism experience significant challenges in managing their daily living skills, right from waking up in the morning and using the washroom independently, to being able to communicate that, something is wrong and my pant is too tight and something is scratching inside my shirt and there is this little tag which is irritating me and bothering me, to being able to say that somebody is bothering me, somebody is looking at me in a way I don't like, somebody is touching me in a place I don't like, being able to communicate that there is an issue. So starting from the minimal to much graver and much bigger things, people with autism face these challenges. So we had a comprehensive program that we were offering at that time, which is today offered as a home program. And the number of people with autism who came to us, the kind of people who came to us seeking our, support was that all of them were not what you call, their area of potential did not involve working in a bakery. So we were forced to expand our services in order to do justice to the people who came to us. So we realized within a few months that the bakery is not going to be enough, and we have to be able to offer other areas of training for people with autism to be able to explore their potential with us. So on the one hand, the bakery was marching along. We worked very hard with it. We got in professionals. We got FSSAI certified approvals in place. We converted it to a commercial sized bakery. We developed and continue to develop new recipes every single year. And we develop only those recipes in which our adults are able to participate in at least 50 to 60% of the process. So we very proudly say that we don't make complicated things. We make simple things which are of high quality with a great amount of commitment. So that takes care of the bakery. In the meantime, we invested in a paper plate manufacturing machine. This was an idea which we took from Autism Ashram. And we started paper plate manufacturing, which was a wonderful reprieve for those of us who find it difficult to sit in a place and work. The paper plate machine allows you to stand and work, to move around a little bit, take a break, come back, make more plates. We started making paper bags. We started doing block printing. We were supported by Creative Handicrafts, which is a clothing line. We started threading and assembling their labels for them. Every month, they send us around 4,000 to 5,000 labels, which we assemble and give them. And every year, we would introduce at least 2 to 3 areas of learning. which also were products converted, were into products that could be offered in the market. We opened a very nice, colorful shop in the premises, which looks out into the street outside the center. All the products made by the adults at our center are sold at this shop. And the latest initiative that we launched was we started doing data entry for HDFC Bank. So this is open to those among us who have good typing skills, alphabet recognition, those who have, reached a certain level of, reading and writing competence. This gives an opportunity to them. So today we have around 6 to 7 areas of training, and every individual who comes to us over a period of time gets exposure to working in each and every area that Together Foundation offers, so that over a period of time we also know what is it that they enjoy doing, what is it which is their greatest area of potential, and we're able to help them to march forward in that area. And quickly, let me add is that we have also, during the lockdown when we had time to ourselves, one is we developed a huge and dedicated online training curriculum. We trained our teachers also in teaching online. And apart from this, all our teaching programs at Together Foundation are always documented across areas of work. So all these programs, we uploaded them onto our website for access by parents and professionals. So it is a very, very detailed access to all our teaching programs, which is there on the website in the form of guidelines. For every program, we have guidelines, we have the visual schedules, and we also have the demo videos that anybody can pick up, download, and use. So this is where we stand today. We're trying our level best to create an environment where people with autism and with other intellectual disabilities, for that matter, they come, they learn, they grow, and they are in a place where they are valued and respected for what they do.
Beautiful, Sangita. Hats off to you for having, shared this out also openly. I know you really are very, very mindful and disciplined about your processes, and the way you have shared about all of these activities and how to help the children and adults, what you displayed on your site is really beautiful. I request all our listeners to please do check it out. And moving on there, Sangeetha, about the girls, specifically about your daughters, what is your future plan for them? And I mean, today, maybe early, but at every stage, especially I know you both as parents have been thinking and evaluating a lot of options and wondering what would happen and what you would like to happen for your girls 10, 20 years down the line. And my question to you is, so any thoughts, anything on the drawing board? And is your family, your extended family, also participative in these discussions? Of course, your children first, and then beyond them, your entire family. What are you all thinking? Can you please share?
Chitra, it is my personal goal for my daughters that they must transition to an independent living community space by the time they're around 20 years old. Right now they're 18. And I have the next 1.5 years to be able to zero in on where they should be living. And as other parents will testify, this is not an easy decision for us to make about where they should be and how much of a role will we get in their lives, and we have umpteen questions about how they will be and what they will do, and then we have a lot of imaginary situations which we want questions to well in advance. What if this happens and what if that happens? So I'm like any other parent trying to solve this question. But yes, I'm personally convinced, and it is my goal, that they should move out and start living with the extra support that they require. For example, there are high functioning individuals with autism who don't require one-on-one caregiver support. But my daughters do not belong to that category. While we have worked very hard with them on their daily living skills, on their language and communication skills, and all those things, and it's a journey which continues, I'm also fully aware of the fact that they will require, between both of them, one person who will be a kind of a governess or a caregiver, or you may call a companion, somebody to shepherd them through the journey of life. So that is something that they will need. And the thing is, Chitra, happiness, if you're looking at achieving happiness, if you're go, let's forget the technical details for a moment. What do we want for our children? We want our children to be able to live without us and to be able to live relatively happy. So that takes a lot of effort from 2-3 angles. One is, of course, what do you call, looking at in terms of financial resources and things like that. The other one is preparing them, helping them. What about them? What about their world? When I enter Lakshmi's world, when I enter Jayanti's world, and I try to look at the world through her eyes and what she wants, the emotional security that she wants, of being with people whom she knows, being with people where she doesn't have to think, who is this person? Will he help me? Will this person be kind to me? Will I get the food I want to eat? You know, those basic things, that assurance that they need, that takes time. It will take time for them to enter a new space and to explore it, to accept it, to like it, and to be happy there. I see it as a journey of 3 to 4 years, Chitra, once they enter a space. So that is how I'm looking at it. It is not something where I can afford to wait till they're, let's say, 25, 30, 35 years old, and I say, okay, fine, now let us explore. I'm not sure that I'll be able to help them make that transition at that age, Chitra. I feel that when they are younger, they will also be open to new experiences. I will also have the energy to help them to make that transition over a period of time. First is their own happiness. To answer their questions, I'm trying to imagine the questions that Lakshmi and Jayanti will ask me, Chitra. First is I have to answer their questions, Chitra. Then I have to answer mine, because it's their life. So first is them, then it's me. So this is the goal. This is what it is. They have to be moving out in a very short period of time and starting to experience and being happy living in an independent space, and understanding that parents are not there all the time around me. I can't see my mother every day. I can't see my father every day, but I'm still happy. That will take time.
Right. What do you feel that, knowing the future is, coming up the way you have been describing? I mean, of course, none of us know what will eventually going to happen. But financially, how do you feel, Sangita? Because I keep talking to everyone, as you know, about getting finances in order and getting all the legal paperwork done in order. For you as a person, how do you feel? Do you feel financially secured, and do you feel that things are sorted for you?
See, financial security is something that we cannot limit only to our children with special needs. We are a family, so it has to encompass me, it has to encompass my husband. The fact that as we grow older, we will require our own resources in terms of being able to take care of ourselves post retirement, being able to meet our expenses, our medical expenses, travel expenses, and things like that. Apart from that, many of us have other children as well. We have neurotypical children as well to whom we have to do justice, take care of their educational needs, give them the security that we would want to give like any other parent would. And then you come to the special needs children who will require a complete, what you call guaranteed cash flow for the rest of their lives, a regular flow of resources that will be available for them
Right.
to take care of their expected and unexpected needs.
Yeah.
So this is something that we are also working towards, Chitra.
So, do you think you're happy with the guidance that you're receiving now? You've taken some professional help, and how is it working for you? Are you involved in and able to participate in whatever is happening in terms of the financial planning aspect and the future planning aspect?
This is something which both CP and I have been talking about since a few years now. And of course, that MFA is one of the institutions that CP is closely working with for planning the
entire
future of our
goal-based planning for
Yes,
the family.
you know
Correct.
that.
Yeah.
And yes, I mean, this is something where we have been in close discussion, both of us, trying to look at a future that we cannot predict completely, and trying to prepare for it from all points of view. And it is, of course, very, very important, Chitra, that we take the help of, for example, CP, my husband. He is a banker. He's been in the banking industry for so many years. But still, he did not feel that this is something which he should do on his own. So it is very important to take the help of a financial consultant, to take the help of people, professionals in the field, to ensure that we are walking on a safe track.
Very well said there.
Yes.
And yes, CP has been really, completely into it in terms of, when we sit together to figure out what are the goals coming up and how clearly he would like it defined and set aside in terms of monies that would be needed for various needs which we might think that we know are coming up, and for those contingencies that we don't know today that may also come up.
Correct.
Yeah. Moving on to my last question to you, Sangita. What would be your advice to parents, to siblings, to extended well-wishers, all of them who are listening to you today? What would you say is the most important part of future financial planning as well as future non-financial related planning for their children?
As far as talking to our fellow parents, for that matter, siblings and other people who are involved in the life of a person with autism, it is important to keep everybody in the loop and to for everyone to understand what are the complexities that go into planning for the future needs of the life of a person with autism. So at home, in our home, for instance, Jayashri and Krishna, who are the siblings of my children with autism, Jayashri and Krishna are in grade 12. And even when they were in school, right from the time they were, I would say, in seventh or eighth standard, they always used to sit in when we would sit and talk, and we would be chatting with between ourselves. They would be in on those discussions. When we have visited lifetime care institutions to see what work they do, many times Jayashree and Krishna have accompanied us, Lakshmi and Jayanti have accompanied us, and it has been a very organic growth as a family. Not that one day we called them and we said, you know what, this is what it is. So even our extended family members, grandparents, uncles, aunts, once in a while we have a family WhatsApp group, as many families do. So once in a while, I keep people updated about what is going on in Lakshmi and Jayanti's life. And in the beginning, people were really uncomfortable because disability is seen as something very sad. Oh my God, this is so sad. Oh my God, what a tragedy in your life. And people feel very uncomfortable to talk about it in a matter of fact manner. So now, after several years of communication, I have family members openly asking me. And I feel very happy that now they talk to me openly and they ask me, what are you planning for Lakshmi and Jayanti? And I keep telling them, I visited this place, I saw this place, I'm looking at this place. I share with other family members. So over a period of time, autism is not some kind of a taboo word. It is a part of the life we lead. It is like the air we breathe. It is like oxygen. It is everywhere around us. So it is like one more member of this family. That's it. So it's very important to have open discussions, matter of fact discussions, not something where, oh my God, where will she go after you're not there? It's a reality. It's a part of our life. So the more we accept it, the more we treat it as one more thing that we have to do in our lives, there is greater acceptance, which is very, very important. It is not something dreadful. And I don't see my daughters moving out as a terrible thing. I don't see it as, oh my God, they have to move out. Oh my God, they have to live without me. Of course, they have to live without me. And they must do it happily. Just as Jayashree and Krishna will also live without me. They will also move out. They will also discover their own space. So I think it's something nice that people with autism also should be given an opportunity to discover their own spaces. But of course, there are many things that come along with it, which is providing for their security, providing for their safety, providing there are good people around them, responsible people around them, ethical people around them, accountable people around them. These are things that we will have to plan for in advance. As far as the financial responsibilities go, it is not easy to shell out money month after month for a person with autism. What do middle class families do? Where do they go? You tell me. Some of the charges of lifetime care institutions is the budget of an entire family for a month. What you have to shell out for one individual. So it is very, very important to take the advice of financial consultants, plan well in advance, ensure that there is a steady flow of cash that will reserves that will take care of the lifelong requirements of your child with autism, while also keeping your own requirements in mind as you grow older and as you age. And as we face our own challenges as we grow older, we need to ensure that we are also taking care of ourselves. So secure planning, safe planning of our resources is vital, and to not take any risk with the investments that we make.
Absolutely bang on, Sangita. Thank you so much for sharing your story, the efforts you put in, and the planning you've done over the years for your young adults. The warmth that you brought to this podcast, the way you shared about the smallest and the largest, thoughts and concepts, I'm sure would, make any parent who's listening to this, first of all, their eye would go moist, but after that, it would also charge them up to figure that, okay, I have to, get going with it. And the clarity with which you shared, you have so much clarity about why a certain thing needs to be done or how it needs to be gone about. I'm sure that would help a lot of people. I'm really sorry that it is in such a short time you had to share your entire life's experience. But I hope people will hear and they will search out and look out for you, and they would come back to you to ask you for help. And listening to your thoughts and listening to all your effort, they would also figure what steps need to be taken for, first of all, how beautifully explained, making the children independent at a certain point in time, and also how to actually focus and look after the financial planning required for their children for when they are alive and also when they are no more. So thank you very much. And I really, really appreciate you for sharing so much with all of us. Thanks a ton, Sangita.
Thank you, Chitra. It was wonderful. And thank you so much for having me over.
You were listening to the Special Needs Children podcast with Chitra Iyer, the CEO of MFA and a trustee with the Forum for Autism. If you find this podcast relevant and interesting, it'll be great if you leave a review, share, like and subscribe. You can also let us know if there is any specific topic that you would like us to cover. Feel free to email her on chitra.iyer@myfinad.com, or you can call her on 98337 85892.